Active duty plus entrepreneurship. What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Fervent 4. Did you know that only 4% of businesses ever cross the annual $1 million revenue mark? Hello, I'm Zack Miller, author of Anomaly. With me today, I have my co-host Tim Ryan, lead man at StartWheel.org. Thank you so much for joining us. The Fervent 4 is a weekly show each and every Thursday at 11 a.m. dedicated to sharing insights into growing a world-class business, no matter the climate. Now, I know that you guys love it when I have to introduce someone with a last name or a first name that I cannot pronounce. Quick, before I get into this craziness, when I had a TV show and I had to pronounce someone's name that I didn't know how to do it, I would just say, oh, and today we're here with Mark. And I wouldn't say their last name. So we're going to try this. JC Colonnieves is here with us today and also known as Batman.
Batman.
So Batman, favorite character of those characters. What is that? The DC characters. Why that Batman? What is it about Batman that jazzes you up?
You know what? What I like about Batman is his quality that he just doesn't care and gets the stuff done no matter what. That's what I like about the character. Even though I'm not a big, DC fan, that is the one that's just he gets it done, pushes through no matter what life throws at him.
Interesting. I think Tim and I are really excited about this episode. We're going to talk about all this stuff, but like a quick little thing, you currently are 200 pounds. You were at 240 about a decade ago, decided that that was a ridiculous lifestyle to live, dropped 85-ish pounds, and then found a more comfortable weight over the last few years of 200. So you gained a little bit of that back in muscle, of course.
That's right.
And so I'm interested in just this whole aspect of this. Let's go back maybe 15 years. Okay. So you're in the military somewhere in this too, right? You're active duty Army at that time, and you gain weight, or you gain weight when you get out of it. How did the weight gain start to kind of come up? Did you just grow up a bigger dude? Like how did JC become 240 JC, if you will?
That is a great question, Zach. And it's something that it happened when I was in the Coast Guard. So I got stationed in Alaska back in 2008. And, well, the depression, no sunlight, a lot of rain. Like I said, depression got to me. And the only avenue I had back then to cope with it was food and alcohol. I was some smoker as well. So as you can imagine, 3 years of being in a depressive state, all I did was just go through all this unhealthy behaviors and just pack all that weight.
Don't you have to take through in the Coast Guard though on a regular basis? I mean, are those kind of like misleading things? Like as an outsider, I thought you guys had to do like PT and have those tests on a regular basis. No.
Unfortunately, in the Coast Guard, the PT and physical fitness is not they'll leave it up to you. Mm-hmm. And yes, we do have weight standards, but the problem with many of us is that, especially for me, I will essentially starve for 3 to 6 months before that tape, just to barely pass by. And then after I got my tape done, good to go, back to the behavior. So it was a repeating cycle.
Yeah, and if you're close to a certain weight, whether that delta is, I mean, you can very easily lose 10 pounds of water weight in a week by just being, I mean, you see wrestlers do it. You see the MMA guys do it. You see boxers do it. I mean, you can do it pretty quickly in whether it's a healthy or non-healthy way. Like, I mean, a gallon of water is 9 pounds. If you can, reduce that a little bit, you can. I get it.
Yeah. So prior Air Force. We used to do the same thing. Yep. So back in the day, we just have to ride the bike, and then they would do all your measurements. Based on that, and it was so just like you would prep beforehand, or then if you didn't hit the numbers that you needed to on the bike, then the garbage bags would come out and people would put garbage bags around.
You get on probation,
and then you would lose the weight, and then it was done. This is when I was in North Dakota, so And my first assignment was in Iceland. So I know what you're talking about in terms of the people that would get there in the wintertime. There would be no sunlight. You wouldn't see the sun for the first 4 months that you were there.
Well, think about like, the boxers and the MMA guys who are 20 pounds of pure muscle overweight can still lose it. And then if someone's a little, a little fat overweight, like I used to be, like you can lose that even easier because it's easier to lose that in a way. At least I found that to be the case. So this is quite interesting times. Okay, so do you have an aha moment? Did you what made you realize, okay, I can't live like this anymore?
Well, after coming back to the mainland from the deployment, from assignment in Alaska, I immediately got into the what we like to call the Fat Boy program, which is, hey, you show up your new unit, you do not meet standards, you're going to be on probation. So that hit hard. And not only that, but I had borderline pre-hypertension. I was heading into medications. My back was killing me. My self-esteem was just bottom out. My energy, I was feeling like crap. And that moment let me realize, wait a minute, I need to change something, because I was only 38. I was a young guy. And just having all these things just all of a sudden, hit me hard. That was my rock bottom, so to speak. So that's what made me change my life.
But growing up, you said you were bullied around similar stuff. So what didn't take then that took you 20 years later to have it kind of really hit home?
Well, when it comes to, can you rephrase that? I'm not following through.
I believe you said it before the show that you had been bullied a lot.
Yeah.
I guess you weren't bigger at that point, so it didn't matter.
No. Yeah, I was a skinny dude back then. But Alaska, the depression just really took me on a completely different.
Beautiful place, but not to live, I guess, right?
And not to live, yes.
Got it. Okay, so you had been bullied, but not because of your weight and that kind of aspect.
Yeah, not at all. Yeah, I've been skinny and I've been a big guy. I've been on both spectrums. Now I'm just nicely settled.
Yeah, that was the same held true for me. I remember going in for a physical, and then the doctor was like, hey, you need to look at fish oil. You need to look at, because your triglycerides were high. And, so I was like you, I had that moment where it's like, man, I can't, this is not going to be my future. So I wanted to be a positive example for myself. I wanted to be a positive example for my kids. So I got out there and then I just started running. And ever since that time, I never stopped. And today I knocked out 10.5 miles. So it just continues to be, that's the journey that we take. And so that's interesting that we share a similar story in that
awesome.
sense.
Yeah.
When you say you just started running, Tim, from a Forrest Gump perspective, I feel like they're very similar. Now, granted, he stopped at some point. You haven't. But how long? So Tim has run something like 2,500 straight days of at least 2 miles.
Wow.
Is that what we're talking about? Like, was there running before that, before the streak started? Or
there was running before the streak. But primarily though, it was because, I wasn't going to go down the road of high triglycerides. And then, that was essentially, like pre-diabetic, I believe, if you continue to go down that road, because it's just an elevated amount of sugar in your blood. So, that's when I started introducing the whole running aspect and, doing 5Ks, 10Ks or whatever. And I would get out there and I would do things. And it was a really big deal for me to go and do like the rock and roll half marathon. I remember I would go out and do long runs and crash on the couch for a couple hours once I was done. And, now it's, today it was 10.5 miles for breakfast. And
wow,
we just continue doing what we're doing.
What do you think about habits, JC? How important are habits to start?
That is exactly what that's what get people in trouble. That's what I'm trying to find out. Actually, that's what I'm trying to project to the viewers. Your habits, the daily things that you do each and every day is going to either take you closer to your goals or is keeping you the same. And habits, as we know, is the stuff that we do unconsciously.
And unfortunately, it's things that have been passed to us from, from generations, so to speak. It's what we do every single day. And that's why it's so hard to change them, because in order to change your not so good habits, you actually have to put a conscious effort. And that's where a lot of people struggle with. So if you can change those by taking mindful actions each and every day, yes, you will be able to adjust those things and actually improve your life.
How long did it take your transformation from your peak weight to to the point that you hit your lowest weight? How long of a transition that was that?
It took me about a year, and I'm not sure, but I'm pretty sure it was a year and 3 months at the very least. It was a lot of work.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that I tell everyone. It's a lot of work. It's fun putting it on, but man, it's a lot of work to take it off. And I mean,
Well, you didn't gain it
talk
overnight.
about habit forming, right?
Oh, and then maintaining it too, because a lot of people struggle, they want to get, they want the 50, 60, 80 pounds gone yesterday, but they don't understand that, okay, once you get that weight off, well, guess what? You can't go back to what you're doing in the past. You have to understand you have to change as a person. Your physical habits and your mental habits have to change, because a lot of people lose the weight, but they all gain it back. And that is because they're not changing.
Yeah, there is a crazy stat around that.
Yeah.
People who lose a crap ton of weight, 70% of them or something like that gain it all back.
Yeah, that is correct.
Or have you, something like all the people on Biggest Loser apparently all gain it back. Yeah,
for me, anytime that I would start to gain a little bit of that weight back, that's because I would track everything, and I still to this day on MyFitnessPal. And any time that I would stray away from MyFitnessPal, taking a log of what my calorie intake was, then I would slowly start to creep up there again. And then once I would start tracking again, that kept me honest.
Yeah, it's the accountability.
Yeah.
So this is the business show. We talk a lot about business. Obviously, I think Tim and I see huge amounts of parallels between fitness, health, and business. You didn't go into this to be a businessman, but you've started your own practice, if you will. You started coaching clients. When did you kind of start getting, the proverbial itch, if you will, to say, hey, like I've gotten in shape myself. I think I can help other people. How did that kind of come about?
That was back in 2016 when I got my first certification, and I realized, wait a minute, I can help other people, because I know, like I said, I know how hard it is to go from, 240 pounds and the mental struggles and trying to figure out what works in the context of my life, how to track calories, how to track macros. So I know and I experience every single setback people are going to experience. So that's what inspired me. Wait a minute, I can help other people do this as well. Yeah, it's not going to be easy, because it's not. If it was easy, everybody will be doing it. But it's nice to have someone to kind of guide them in the right direction to help them.
Take us through that. Was it other active duty members that saw the transition and they were like, hey, I want those same results? Or now you're targeted more towards women. Explain how you started finding those first customers and how you built that business.
Well, I started posting on social media my results and just sharing, people that I was helping the local community. But what really got me working towards women was I also helped my wife lose 85 pounds as well back in So we both lost 85 pounds together. So that's what inspired me to kind of help women, because I feel more connected. I know how they feel. I know the body image they struggle with, the setbacks they are going to have. And I just feel like I'm more capable and connected to a deeper level with women as well. But that's, helping people and active members as well has inspired me to, keep going and help those people that need help.
So Tim?
No, go ahead.
So you post, people saw you before, people see you now, and they're like, Oh, wow. Night and day. You look completely different. How did you do it type of thing? And then you just kind of direct message those people, and your wife was getting those same messages. And then they basically said, how can I do this? And you, at some point you realize enough of these people said this and you started charging them. Like how does that aspect get into there? Because I think this is something where I think people find a great customer, they find someone that they can help, but just like maybe getting started on that run, maybe just like lifting that first weight, they're not necessarily adjusted or ready mentally, physically, whatever, to do the ask and say, hey, I can help you, but also I want something in return. So how did you start making, asking for that return, from a payment perspective?
Well, I started back, asking very little money first, so to speak, because back then I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't have systems. I didn't have an application process in place. I didn't have a method of delivering not only lessons, but I didn't have a method of delivering a workout, so to speak. It was very raw way of doing things. So back then, I think I was charging, I think it was like $60 a month for something like that. And unfortunately, a lot of people didn't do anything with the information provided, and kind of, I felt like they were kind of wasting my time, but that is okay.
Why do you think that was? Just because most people
low value.
Low value. Yeah. The more you pay, the more you're willing to use it.
Exactly. Yeah. If you think about it for a second, I mean, it's very easy. And a lot of people don't understand this, especially when I give them my prices these days. Oh, that's too expensive. But I go, wait a minute. How much are you willing to spend every single week and going to restaurants? Because I guarantee you the average person out there is spending $200 a month on junk. At least. It's very easy to go to restaurants, to drink. On those unhealthy behaviors, everybody's like, yeah, I'll spend money all day. But when it comes to changing your health, for some reason, people go, wait a minute, that is too expensive. But it's not expensive.
Well, think about how much you would be paying in prescription medication for the rest of your life.
Thank you.
It's to me, that's the bigger picture that I look at.
You either pay now or you're going to pay for it later, but sooner or later you're going to pay for it.
That made me think of there. I saw this somewhere once where it said you can pay the farm, FARM, pay the farm now, or pay the farm, PHARM, later.
Sooner or later you're going to pay. So might as well take care of your body now, so you have a longer, more. Do
you think it's the instant ramification of all this, where people they want the immediate result? They go and they eat something else, they feel good about it, and then that's okay? Or what have you seen in your work that
I think you nailed it. It is they see it before an actor and they don't realize
how long
the amount of work that person put. If the photos are even real, because very easy to fake progress pictures. It's extremely easy. The right lighting, it's very easy. So I think it gets people in trouble.
Tim, I've never sent you you've seen the whole thing from straight to the bottom. Okay, so should we tell him now, Tim?
Yeah.
All right. So I've been a part of the 3 Bill Club. And I guess Tim.
Do you know what that is, JC?
No, I do not. I'm interested.
Okay. Well, I used to be 300 pounds. And I was an athlete before, decided to balloon up because I did everything that you were saying, just enjoyed life. And then I'd done a half an Ironman a year before, had lost a little bit, gained some of it back. Tim texts me and says, hey, I'm running this marathon in December of 19. I trained for it, run it in, it's like the last known race before COVID shut down, March of 20. And around that time, I was probably close to 300.
Oh, wow.
And then I just constantly just kept working out. But I think one of the main things is having right people around you, right? So there's accountability people. But I didn't weigh myself the entire time when I did it. I personally think weight is a vanity metric.
It can be, yeah.
Right. And so just like there's a lot of missing context around that. Oh, that person weighs this, I'm going to weigh that. It's like, well, we don't know what that really looks like.
Yeah.
So you got to know for yourself. And so, so hearing all these things is really interesting because, I mean, Tim didn't do it through the same total weight, I guess, but it's exciting to see and hear different people's journeys of how they have gotten to where they are today, if you will. So I used to call old Zack Fat Zack. So I don't know if I want to find a picture or not, but I guess I could.
Oh yeah, I got pictures of myself, and Lord, it's like, oof.
That's the thing that makes it so difficult. Is like, if we're going to post something to market different things on social media, and because of COVID, Zack and I used to see each other all the time. And now because of COVID, we don't see each other nearly as much as we used to. So there's no pictures that we can post anymore because Zack has gone through such a huge transformation, during this year and a half long journey, or however long it's been, almost 2 years now. I mean, so pretty much any picture of Zack, it's very, very evident.
I got to find some real good ones.
We had some fun though, that's for sure.
Of course, it's always fun getting that big. The problem is getting back down. That's what, it's difficult.
It is really, really tough. And so when you have that first meeting with somebody, what do you tell someone? I know from my standpoint, someone will come to me and they'll be like, hey, I'm going to start running. And yesterday I went ahead and I started with 3 miles, and I'm like, oh man, you're not going back out there. You're going to be so sore after day one that you're going to be like, this is just a bridge too far. I'm not going to do it. And, so I always tell everyone to start with a walk. Run mailboxes. Run from this mailbox to the next mailbox and slowly stretch it out.
Exactly.
Make sure when you finish those runs that you have gas left in the tank, knowing that you have more. And so then you're encouraged to do it the next time. So do you take a similar approach with your clients?
That is correct. As a matter of fact, on our first phone call, we, after filling an onboarding form, just to know a little bit more about what the client is, their unique life challenges, we talk about, just like you mentioned, because the problem is a lot of people want to go from 0 to 100% like that the next day, and it will always backfire, because as you mentioned, you're going to hit a wall, you're going to hurt yourself, you're not going to be able to cope with the extra life stresses, because life is always going to stress you out no matter what. So my job is to, out of all the things that you have going on with the client, where can we focus on that it's going to be the least amount of effort for you, not only physical, but mental. And like you mentioned, some people, the only thing they can do is walk for now. So, let's concentrate on more walking. When it comes to the eating, a lot of people drink their calories, sugary drinks or those health shakes. No, let's just take those out, increase water, hydration. It's just the little things, the little steps. That's what is going to give you, the results. And, it might take a week, might take it 2, but at least those little changes is a lot easier to implement day in, day out than just I'm going to work out 7 days a week. I'm going to eat, all my meals are going to be perfect. It's just too much. It's too much. So it's a matter of kind of breaking their life apart a little bit and figure it out. Oh Lord, that's you, Zack? Wow.
Oh, that's a good one. That's a good one. This is a full body one, so you can see the full gut going on right there, So yeah.
It's work. Good for you. That's awesome.
It's wild. It's cool to see. I mean, the transformation. And the crazy thing is, if when I think about 3 years ago, Zack, you really hid the weight well, I thought back then. And now when I look at you, I'm like, wow, that was just the craziest transformation. So good on you. I'm super proud of you.
Thanks. Okay, so Tim, JC, you said that habits are something that are good, that are can be really bad, but in the same way, I think they can be really good, right? So from Tim's perspective, running 2,500 straight days, that has become a habit where he's gotten in there. You hear people talk about like no days off and things like that. where are you on the mindset of that, of just doing that so that you don't get back into that rut of, because so Tim has told me in the past that he's terrified of starting a second or stopping, because one day turns into two, and then it turns into 2,500 of not working out, and he looks like Zack Miller of old, and he doesn't want to be that, and I don't blame him. So where are you on kind of the how to figure out what's too much and what's too not on a no days off habit kind of perspective of the actual workout?
I'm a guy that likes simplify everything. Like for me, I will not compromise. I work out every other day, and that's something that I will not compromise for anyone, no matter what schedule, just every other day. I don't work out. No one should be working out every single day, because your body needs recovery time. And that's something a lot of people don't understand. Your body rest is just as important as exercise, so to speak. So I walk a lot. I walk at least 2 to 3 times a day, weather permitting. So that's another habit that I have implemented. Workout every other day. Another habit that I have instilled is I always have my freezer stocked with either good sources of protein, frozen vegetables. Why frozen vegetables? Because you never had the excuse of, oh, well, I don't have anything. I don't have it available to you. If they're frozen, you always have a good source of vegetables no matter what. Just grab it, put it in the microwave, 4 minutes. You got your vegetables for the day, done.
Especially if they're the steamables, where it's 4 minutes and done.
That's it. Thank you. And the same thing, I will not compromise on good sources of starches. Sweet potato, white potato, I always have it on the pantry. I love rotisserie chickens as well, because, well, they're cooked. You don't have to cook. You can assemble a meal in 5 minutes that is guaranteed it's going to be better than you going through any fast food place and going for a burger that's going to be 1,500 calories. Easy. Meanwhile, you can cook a meal in 5 minutes at home, and it's definitely going to be a lot better for you. Yeah, so if you set your environment for success, you don't have to think so much about making healthier choices, because your environment is set for you. So it makes everything easier, because you don't have to overthink and stress about it when you have good ingredients to make quick meals throughout the day.
Has there been any, so how, as your business continued to grow, how did you balance that between being active duty and having this side hustle?
Well, right now, because, things are going on at home, I kind of not taking any, I do exploratory calls here and there, but I'm not taking any, clients, so to speak, right now, because, like you mentioned, I'm active duty. I don't have a lot of time to kind of have more clients or work with more people one-on-one. But as I transition to a civilian, which is, I think, is going to be next year or the year after, I'm going to have more time to actually take in more people. But right now, it's not like I'm a hiatus, so to speak. It's just I don't have the time right now to kind of, help people as much as I would like. Right now, I think I got roster of just 15 clients, and that's plenty, because they can book calls with me, just the workouts if needed, ask their questions if they need to, things of that nature.
Yeah, that's one thing that I tell a lot of. I mean, still live near Langley Air Force Base, and I'm very connected to the military community and live near a lot of active duty people. That's the thing that I tell them is, like, everybody has to get out of the military at some point. You're going to separate, you're going to retire. So start taking those small steps today, so that you can set yourself up for the time that you are no longer in uniform every day. So whether if it's building your network on LinkedIn, whether if it's taking classes so that you can finish with your degree, or in your case, starting a side business and start building up that clientele. So that way, when you do retire or separate, you're not starting at zero anymore. And so good on you for you've got that solid base. And from a business standpoint, it's so much easier knowing that, hey, this month I don't have to start at zero anymore. I'm starting at 15 clients. So that's
it's taking a little, do. It's just taking a little steps each and every day. And like you mentioned, it's just being proactive.
And it's just like working out. It's just like, physical fitness, a little bit at a time, and then it continues to grow and grow and grow, and you build upon that.
Well, let's say something crazy happens, right? Where you're at a job, you get let go, and you haven't been active in any of those things, and then you need all that stuff to work, and it's like you're starting at zero when all you had to do was just do a little over time.
Keep talking to people, keep putting yourself out there, keep providing value to your audience. At least in my case, it's just always reaching out. I do my best to talk to at least 5 people. Well, not talk, but DM 5 people every day, just to keep those relationships going. And providing, just asking, hey, how you doing? Do you need help with this? Well, let me send you this quick guide that I have, because it's a matter of always being top of mind. Mm-hmm. That way, when the person is ready to, you know what, I'm tired of this, I need help. I know who to talk to, because this person has been reaching out for me for months.
And I'm sure that you have people that you've talked to several years ago that weren't ready to make that conscious change. And then they reach out to you. And that's just one of the things that I talk about all the time with people. It's like, you're not going to change until that is painful enough to you to make you want to make that change. So Zack had his moment, you had your moment, I had my moment. I mean, and it just, how do you handle when you're working with a client that you want their success more than they want their success? How do you handle that from your mental standpoint? Because
from my mental standpoint, I tried and do my best to empower them, because I always remind themselves that, yes, like you guys mentioned, I was my problem. We're all of us, how we get through life, when it comes to health and fitness, it is our problem, no matter what, but we're also our solution. And that's what I try to instill and empower my clients to understand that, hey, I know you're struggling. Let's work together so I can show you and reveal to you, okay, let's go this route, because it seems that it's easier for you. So rebuild that confidence, because most people have tried every single diet out there. Yes, it works. They lose track, they revert, confidence drops. So it's my job to kind of lift them up and keep rebuilding that confidence, so they feel like, I can do this. Yeah, I can do this. And hopefully be able to push them in the right direction. And it's like building momentum for anything. And I try that to do for people as well.
Yeah, I mean, I think the key is the people who probably are the most successful are the ones who are able to do a very similar thing over and over and over again, and not allow the high highs and low lows to get in the way, basically. And it's just, try and stay even keel about it. I think the networking aspect of what you're talking about is incredible, right? And so Tim and I introduced Tim to a lady named Erica McManus, and every few months, I think we both just reach out and see how they're doing. She's been a 2-time guest on the show. She sent us some swag just so that we would wear it. It's a thing. We just got them in. I got mine last night. I'm assuming you got yours yesterday too, Tim.
I did.
Tim doesn't want to mess up his hair. I don't care. I'll wear the Instant Teams tie-dye hat. Actually, it's a really nice fit. So this is super rad. I ordered a large in a hoodie, which is ridiculous since there have been times where I was a 2XLT.
So that feels comfortable now.
Maybe I should have ordered an extra large, but it's okay. Like it's no, it's fine. No, it's nice. I mean, it's interesting thinking like, oh my God, can't believe I can wear that shirt. But the networking aspect of it is so incredibly important. And even if just people like you do, JC, is reach out to a handful of people a day. Hey, what's up? Let me just see what's going on. If you do that, I mean, what's 5 times 365? Over 1,000.
A lot of people,
right?
Yeah.
You're improving your network, and those people are going to see what you're doing because you've invested in them, and that's great. From a value perspective, since you used that word, what are some other things that you've done to improve your awareness to the JC brand?
Well, a lot of people worry about workouts. I even created workouts for people as well. Just simple things. I have guides or references when it comes to, because a lot of people struggle with, what do I eat? Okay, well, I got a simple guide for that. There you go. What do I eat for breakfast? I got a guide for that as well. So it's the simple things, and people ask me just simple questions, and I try to keep everything as easy so people, try to remove overwhelm from their lives. So when it comes to, workout, nutrition, I'll also have a guide when it comes to improving your body image as well. I got a fairly decent Facebook group as well, where I share, recipes, you got it, workouts, you got it, issues as well, you got it. So I'm trying to keep my core value to those three aspects, because you need all three. If you're missing one of those three, you're not going to make progress at all. So you need to be good with your exercise, with your eating, and most importantly, with what's going on in here, because this is what's going to take you where you want to go. The way you think about yourself and the way you push through the struggles, because life is never going to stop giving you a hard time.
Yeah. And the thing is, for me, you have to prioritize this. Yeah. I know the first thing that I do when I wake up is I have to get out there and I have to do what needs to get done. Even today, running through a downpour, I knew that it was going to happen. I had to do it, because the later the day goes, the more text messages and phone calls and meetings and interruptions, and it just
dread that you have.
Life gets in the way. So it's like you have got to prioritize it, and otherwise you're flirting with danger of just life taking over.
Yeah, because people rely on motivation and they wait until they feel like doing this. And I'm telling you, there's so many times I don't feel like eating healthy. There's so many times I don't feel like showing up to the gym. But you know what? You have to get it done. And that is that discipline that people have a problem, building and reinforcing. If you reinforce your discipline, there's no thought process again. And if there's no thought process, you just do it, whether you feel like it or not. And that's what makes people succeed or not.
Do you find that learning this as a life skill has helped the business aspect of it, from a discipline perspective, from just doing it perspective?
Yes, 100%. Discipline.
How quickly did you recognize that they were very similar? Because I think they're basically like spot on, parallel. Like if you could just interchange the words out, and they're like the exact same thing.
I think it took me about close to a year to realize, wait a minute, this is exactly the same thing. Because again, if you don't have the discipline for the business, well, you're going to start losing track with leads or losing track with people, contacts, and people forget about you after a while, because that's just human nature, especially in an online setting when it's very easy to get distracted.
How has COVID affected your business? So like, one of the things that I really wish that people would get, and the media doesn't talk about this, but COVID, this is your wake-up call to get healthy, become cardiovascularly strong, lose weight, because the people that feel the effects of COVID more than anyone are those that are overweight and those that are doing exercise. Has it been a wake-up call where more people have contacted you because they saw this as a wake-up call for themselves?
Yes. As a matter of fact, I have one client right now that she actually got COVID. And like you mentioned, that was her wake-up call, like, oh, snap. She had a really, really difficult, hard time. And after she bounced back from COVID, she reached out to me. And so far, I think she has lost close to 40 pounds so far. And she's still with me. We're still struggling. Hey, we're still managing her struggles. But it definitely, it opened her eyes as
Scared
well.
The crap out of her.
Yeah, it did. She did not have a good time. That was her, okay, I'm done. I got to change my life.
It's interesting. As you were describing Alaska, I wrote down a note, like Alaska and COVID are the same thing, basically, right? Where it's, a depressed place, stay inside, cold, you eat a lot. What was the first 6 to 9 months of COVID? Stay inside, stay inside. It wasn't, hey, it's okay to go outside and walk.
But that's not what we were told. That's what perceptions came in.
Everything was to stay inside. And so I think everyone was terrified. Most people were terrified of we don't know what's going on. Is this thing like, is it going to do what, is this the zombie apocalypse that we've been watching plenty of movies about over the years? And, thank God it hasn't been like that to the extent I think where people might have thought it could have been. But, it's unfortunate that more people didn't see the wake up call over the last year to have worked on this in a stronger kind of way.
It's hard. I mean, our wake up call is different for each and every one of us. So it's difficult to say what is going to make one person realize, oh crap, I need to change my life.
So knowing that,
I don't know. Yeah.
Knowing that, and you having a word of mouth business, like how do you predict that, like figuring out people's wake up calls?
That is a good question. I'm not at this point, because each and every one of us is different. And it's really hard to define or try to figure it out. Some people, some clients have survived breast cancer for me, and that has been their wake up call to, change their life or beat it in the past. And now they're ready to change. It's very difficult to predict that.
One of the things that I find really that I noticed, and when you sent us some notes about yourself, you had mentioned this as well. Your target is women in their 40s. And one of the things, as my wife and I continue to run and do different races, it's amazing the bell curve. I guess it's a reverse bell curve in the sense of the times that women would run were so much slower when they had kids between the ages of, like newborn and 12. But then as soon as those kids could start watching themselves, then the women were like, I got to get back on this fitness train. And
that's
then
exactly
all
right.
The 5K times just dropped like a rock, and it became so much more competitive.
Yeah, that is correct. And that's the reason why mainly that is my intended target, because most of the times, most clients, after have reached a certain age, their kids are older. Like you mentioned, they can take care of themselves. So now they are thinking, okay, now it's me time. I have given, my time to family, career. Now it's my time to take care of myself. And that's where, I focus my intended target on.
There's a similar statistic from a business perspective where people who start businesses are in their 20s or in their 50s.
Oh.
Well, it's interesting in the sense of like
what's that in between, I guess, right? Is the kids.
Well, like here, so my wife and I have a child that's a freshman in college, and I have a sophomore in high school, and I'm 48. And then when my wife talks to her colleagues in Northern Virginia, they're in their 40s with kids that are like in kindergarten. So it's just weird how the demographics are so different in the sense of they, in Northern Virginia, they waited longer. Whereas us, we're on the other side. It's like, we're ready to be empty nesters and go out and enjoy life. So it's just strange.
I don't have kids, so I have no comment.
But do you have any advice, or do you start the sales funnel, if you will, with women in their 30s that at some point, hey, these are the things that you can do now so that when it does come time, that it's not going to be so difficult to get the momentum that you need? Or
I have not started a funnel at 30s. I mostly stick with, like I said, intended market at 40 plus. And the reason is because a lot of women at that age, they think that their metabolism is slow. And yes, there are hormonal aspects that I have to take into consideration as well. It's one of the things that I go to my onboarding, because, some of us, after we reach a certain age, testosterone replacement therapy, hormone replacement therapy overall, and that can affect things as well. So there's a lot of misconceptions that women have at that age. Like I said, starvation mode, my metabolism is broken. I mean, I've heard that a million times, and it's not true. Unfortunately, it's not true at all. I have a client that she's in her 60s and she has lost 50 pounds. So it's not the metabolism at all. It's not the hormones. It is the behaviors that we take that lead us into either our goals or away from our goals. So it's, like I said, it's my job to kind of direct them. Where are we missing this excess calories coming in? Let's focus on this. Let's focus on that, and just taking little steps at a time, week by week, so to speak.
A business owner is watching and is saying this is exactly me, right? I'm a little overweight, maybe extremely overweight. I have a successful business. I don't have time to prioritize any of the things that you're talking about. I know that I can be fit. What do you say to get them to get the ball rolling, if you will?
Well, when it comes to other people and business owners that are busy, try to like you guys mentioned as well, priorities are key into this. I guarantee it. If you can take just 1 hour of your day, all of us have 24 hours. All of us. It's not that some of us has more time than others. It's just blocking yourself that 1 hour to take care of yourself. When it comes to the weekends, block, if you can, I know we're busy, if you can block 2 hours over the weekend instead of our usual going to restaurants and unwind and drinking, if you take that time to either do a simple meal prep routine to set you up for success for the week and just plan ahead, I guarantee you're going to start seeing results. It's just blocking time for you because we're all worth it.
What do you what do you for it really is like a relapse. What do you tell someone that has a relapse? They're like, dude, I'm on the junk again, man. I can't stop eating a pint of ice cream every night.
Halo
And,
top.
what do you tell folks?
Hey, I've been there. I'm not gonna lie. I don't eat
Right.
perfect. I don't eat perfect every day. I don't. I got family visiting. There's cookies. There's treats. I'm not gonna lie. I am human, just like everyone else. The best thing I can say is, look, be compassionate towards yourself. We're human. I don't expect perfection. No one's perfect. The only thing I ask people to do is just 1% better each day. That's it. No, it's. I know a lot of people, if they have the high hopes that I'm going to eat perfect, I want to work out every single day.
The Rock doesn't eat perfect. I mean, you've seen his cheat meals.
Exactly. We all going to make mistakes. Do you know
Just
what?
don't let those cheat meals become the new habit, right?
That's the key for you to catch yourself realizing, oh, wait a minute. I shouldn't be having ice cream every night. Maybe let me cut the ice cream. Let me hide the treats a little bit better.
Don't buy the treats.
Or don't buy the treats. But when you have family visiting, they're buying the treats. You got to hide the treats. So it's just finding those little compromises. Like, for example, I asked my wife to hide the treats because if I don't see them, I'm not going to go for them. So if they're hidden, out of sight, out of mind. So it's less likely for you to go eat a box of cookies just because that's the very first thing you saw when you open the pantry.
What's the snack that you can't walk by that,
Oh,
that will get you every time?
I want to know what yours is too, Tim. So think about it.
Give me a jar of peanut butter and a bag of dark chocolate chips. That's it. It's spoonfuls of Reese's.
That's a lot of calories. Yeah.
Exactly. And I just can't stop eating it. That's my trigger food. A spoonful of peanut butter. And the problem is I cannot go for one peanut butter scoop. No, it's going to be more than.
Yeah, why would you? I mean, you want more. I mean,
exactly.
Tim, what's yours?
Dude, I mean, I love ice cream. I mean, it.
Flavor? I always forget.
I mean, dude, well, the best ice cream is fish food from Ben and Jerry's.
Really?
Dude, the chocolate, caramel, marshmallow.
That actually sounds good.
Oh, yeah.
Chocolate ice cream with gooey marshmallow swirls, caramel swirls, and fudge fish. Oh, so does it have sweetest fish in them?
No, it's chocolate.
Interesting. I bet you Tim can guess what mine is.
I don't know. I don't know if I know that. Back in the day, I know what it was. It was Dilly Dilly.
Well, yeah. Well,
but
I would say, okay, so here's an interesting thing. So like I was prepping for my Ironman this year, and a lot of the days were 2.5, 3 hour days workouts.
Good Lord.
Yeah. And I was like, I don't really care. I got to drive by this grocery store. I'm going in and I'm buying a couple apple fritters and I don't care. And I did way too much.
Those are good, those apple fritters.
They
Son of a gun.
Until you realize that the nutritional facts that they're telling you is
they're
for
raw.
one serving, and that apple fritter is probably 3 servings. And you're like,
oops.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean,
But I do
it's
love an apple
helped for me. When the kids have we pack their lunch for school, and they would have Oreos or some sort of snack.
Oh, that's my
I mean,
favorite cookie, Oreos.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
Oreos or Nutter Butters.
Well, from a marketing perspective, let's talk about just like the marketing aspect of junk food, right? And how, because I mean, it's pretty amazing that we have been convinced that some of this food is actually good for us.
That is a fantastic question.
It's absolutely mind blowing, right? So like, just look at the added sugar on something. Yeah, you look at the nutritional label and it says added sugar 20 grams.
Yeah.
Per serving, which by the way, most people aren't eating a serving of cereal. They're eating 2, maybe 3 servings of that. So they're getting 60 grams of added sugar plus the milk that they might be adding plus whatever else. But on the cover of that, on the front of the box, it's saying basically like, this is good for your kids, whatever, yada, yada, yada. Like
fat free.
Yeah, fat free, keto, keto friendly. There's a movie, Super Size Me 2, which is a great flick on how Morgan Spurlock opens a fast food joint and gets all the labels on his food and shows you how ridiculously easy it is. Just like the marketing aspect of crap food, of junk food, like it's mind blowing to me that we're able to be that we have so much process on things that are supposed to be good for you, that are absolutely terrible for you, that are killing people, and we allow that, even though we govern so many things. Like when people talk about like just the marketing aspect of how crappy food is, I mean, like, how do you backtrack something that we've been told is healthy our entire life?
Well, that's a great question. You slap the word protein on any box, and people will buy like thinking like they're getting a serving of protein, which is just garbage. I have seen protein bars with the same calorie value as a Snicker bar. It just blows my mind, and people thinking they're eating healthy.
Oh, so Robert Irvine, the guy who from Restaurant Impossible, he has a bar out now.
Yeah, I've seen them.
So my wife and I watch Restaurant Impossible. It's a good show. There's a funny story about Robert Irvine that I will not tell you guys, but
all right.
It's, what is it? Not safe for work. Let's just say that. No, it's not that bad. But so I looked at I was at the grocery store. I looked at the bar. It was like 470 calories is this little bar. And I was just like, yo, bro, like, this is probably not what people should be eating.
No.
Like,
it is ridiculous. The same thing with oatmeals. And I mean, like I said, you put the word protein and people buy it thinking it's good, and it's not. It's just a lot better if you eat the chicken breast, an extra serving of chicken breast or lean meat. You'll get more protein out of it. If you feel more full, instead of going with the damn candy bar that you're going to be hungry right after you eat it. It's not any better, and people don't grasp that. But in my case, I definitely encourage anyone to flip the freaking box and read the nutritional labels, because it's there for a reason, and it's going to open your eyes. A lot of people don't want to see the reality, but we eat way too much. It's very easy to eat 4,000 calories, 5,000 calories in a day. It's not hard. I've done it.
Do you have when you talk to clients, do you have an education period to say, hey, this is what the labels mean, these are the things that you need to look for, this is fact, this is fiction?
Yes, I do. That's part of my onboarding week, so to speak, from the app that I use to deliver content. But yes, there's a section of it explains to you through them, what are the macros, protein, carbs, and fats, the values, the calorie value, how to track them properly, how to weigh it properly, if that is the approach that they want to follow. A lot of people, they're kind of scared of following the approach. Some of them stick to portion control using the hand method.
That's the method, dude.
No,
portion control is mine.
No, Andre. I look at him. I look down and I see Andre the Giant hands.
It's different, but everybody's different when it comes to tracking the nutritional value. But definitely, any user, just look at the label and your mind is gonna be blown. And I don't understand, because the information is there. It's just people don't want to face the reality. That's all it is.
Okay, so
I don't know if it's a generational thing But I mean, like for me as a kid growing up, we couldn't leave the table unless we finished our meal. Like
That's
you
a
don't
generational thing.
leave food on your plate. So even to this day, I'm like, man, I got to pack this last bite down because I
Is
can't.
that because you had to get all the value in it and your parents were teaching you that way?
That's a good question. But I was raised the same way. You don't leave the table until you stuff even if you're full, you're not supposed to.
Because what was on your plate and what you ate are two different things, I guess. Could
Eat all
be,
you
right?
want,
I mean,
but eat all you take is.
We just lost our cues when it comes to actually feeling satisfied. That's another thing that we live in a society where, you guys know there's food advertisements, radio, TV, internet is consume, eat 24/7. Come on, there's a Food Network show where you sit down and there's nothing but eat food. It's we're primed to consume because that generates money.
So maybe that's the answer. It's money, right? But like,
exactly.
This is the statistic, right? I mean, I think I'm not fact checking Doug Hack, who I don't know, but I think it's your friend Tim. Like over 400,000 people a year die from obesity. On the news, nothing about it. Like, what is it because there's no money in that? Why is that not something that people push? Well, actually, let's just put it this way, right? I'm not going to try and put myself into a bad situation by saying this, but just under 700,000 people have died from COVID, right, in America. This statistic says 400,000 people a year have died from obesity. Let's just say those are generally the same statistic. Those are basically the same number, right? About 500,000 people a year are dying from this thing, whether that's COVID or whether that's obesity, right? Why is one getting way more publicity than the other? And it seems like in some cases, the solution is very fixable by the thing that you do for a living, which is fitness. Why is obesity not sold the same way COVID is?
I don't know. I will imagine because let's go back to the beginning of this broadcast. Pharma, it's a big money maintaining people, get this pill for this, get this pill for that. Let's treat, because there's more money treating someone for, cardiovascular disease or all this horrible.
It's not like gyms. It's not like there's not money in gyms. I mean, Peloton's on there like crazy. You got. I mean,
it's a different mentality for those people as well. I will imagine. I got Peloton.
And I think that there's some legal aspects as well. Like you can't, if you're talking about calling people by name as being obese or whatever, I think that there's some legal aspects, and today everyone stays away from it. It is
okay. I mean, as a person who used to be obese, I mean, it's pretty obvious to know that you're obese. And I don't. I mean, if you
I was the same way. Yeah,
you can't handle that. I mean, that's a completely different story.
I
can look in. I mean, I can look in the mirror and say, "Yep, you're fat." Like, come on. Like that's. I mean, what do you want me to say? I mean, like
I agree with you, Zack.
For a long time.
It's just.
I showed you the pictures.
In the same light, if you were to profile all the CEOs of the Fortune 500 companies, Fortune 50 companies, whatever the number is, and if you listen to what their regimens are every morning, they're all waking up at 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. They work out, they meditate, they watch their diet, and all of them are they're fit, and they prioritize that. And just like with life, you have to make sure that when your business day is 12, 14, 16 hours long, that's a whole nother kind of endurance that you need to make sure that you're able to maintain.
We can't do that on Lay's.
No, you cannot do that on Lay's. That's correct.
Right.
It's priority. We all, like I said, we all have the same 24 hours in the day. It's just what we do with those hours that is going to set you up for success or not.
How have wearables affected the business aspect of that? And I know Tim has an Oura ring now. I have a Garmin watch. I don't know what you have, JC, but like, what have you seen just from like a business perspective of people being better at their lives because of the wearable technology, the Apple Watches of the world, wearing something like that they can get that information, the Fitbits, like how is that helping, whether it be your clients or...
I see what you're saying when it comes to wearables. it might help people and it might hurt some. It all depends on the person. For example, a lot of people, when they start using the wearables, they start kind of figuring out and using the calories to kind of overcompensate, because that got me in trouble for me as well. So when I was wearing Fitbits and things of that nature, I learned, it took me a while, but I learned to not trust the calorie burn on those things, because it's all based on generic population calculations. It's really not as accurate as we are led to believe, and it can get a lot of people in trouble. And think about it, many years people has been losing weight without wearables for years. It's not that hard. It's just sticking to the basics for an extended period of time. A lot of people rely on the information here and forgetting about the basic principles, and that's what some
because
people
it says you burn 500 calories on a swim or something.
Exactly, yeah. But you don't know unless you're in a metabolic chamber. You don't know exactly, because you got to take in your muscle mass, that counts. Your age, your sex, your gender. There's so many factors to consider. It's impossible to know exactly how many calories you burn. Yeah.
And I think that it's great from a motivation factor.
Yeah, it has its place.
You out there.
Yeah.
The issue that I have with the Apple Watch is every single Monday it gives you your weekly report, and if you hit your calorie goal every single week, then it will encourage you to increase your daily calorie goal for burning. And so then at that point you become slave to your watch. And it's like, and I'm to the point where it's like, dude, I can't continue to increase my weekly calorie thing, because otherwise I'm never going to stop working out.
Well, not to mention if you turn it into a smartwatch too, where you're getting your Instagram things and you become obsessed with it from that perspective.
Yeah.
Well, and so like the one thing about the Oura Ring that's different is that it will say, hey, you had a tough workout today. You need to focus on rest. You need your bedtime needs to be earlier, and it will measure how long it takes your variable heart rate to lower back down from the time you finished your exercise to your normal resting heart rate. And so it will actually encourage you to take rest, to go to sleep earlier.
So it'll give you a result though, instead of like, hey, go eat this. Instead, it just says rest this, do that.
I will say, Tim, you need to take it easy today. And the other thing that I like about it is the fact that you can set it onto vacation mode. So, that it's not pushing you to, again, you're just not.
Tim runs on his vacations. Don't let him fool you.
I do, but just not as far.
I've only walked, I only have 3,400 steps in today. I'm sorry. It's disappointing.
Man, I'm at 15,699.
I'll be at.
but just going on a 10-mile run. That's why.
I'll go on. I'll get a lot tomorrow, hopefully. So, JC, what haven't we talked about that you want to talk about, or what's something that you'd like to talk about?
I think we hit everything. The habits, we talked about that. How important are they? That perceptions and realities are two completely different things. It's going to take people much longer. If, for example, if you think it's going to take you 6 months, I'm guaranteed it's going to take you a year at least. And that is because you don't know what life is going to throw at you tomorrow. You have no idea. The only thing you can control is today, this very moment. Tomorrow is no guarantee. So if you are 1% better today, you're going to start moving in the right direction. Let's see, we talk about how easy it is to, simplify the way you eat, simplify the way you move. You don't need to do this complicated workouts. You really don't. Just walk. If that is the only thing you can do right now, increase your steps. That is cheap, is easy, and I think anyone can implement that simple habit in the context of their lives. I think we cover the basics.
Love it. We'll leave on this that Tim does run on vacation because his vacation buddy has proven it. So way to go.
Vacation, Tim, not necessarily the keys, but typically I'll be like, all right, Tim, you're running 1 mile for every beer you drink, because if you're suffering, then you're an idiot and you need to punish yourself for being dumb.
That sounds really dangerous. JC, appreciate it. It's been an absolute blast.
Thanks,
Looking forward to catching up in the future. See y'all next time. Peace.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.